Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Red Sea podcast. It is the Fab Four. It is the Palace preview. We are minus Courtney, but we've got Diogo's father, we've got myself, the Southern Scouser, and we've got Statman Stubbs as well. So lots to get into. Score predictions, match preview, team lineup predictions. Let's get going.
Tell the world we are Liverpool, champions of England.
We've conquered all of Europe. We're never gonna stop. From Palestine to Turkey, we've won the fucking lot. Got Paisley and the Shankly, the fields of Anfield gold. We are unsupported, and we come from Liverpool.
So here we are, guys. Not the Fab Four tonight, the Fabulous Three. How are we doing, boys? You all right?
Yeah, good. Cheers, you,
mate. Yeah, I'm enough for all of you. I can make up for Courtney.
Yeah, it's we've got no one to look at tonight for the viewers. They've got to pick someone else to gaze their eyes upon, haven't they, tonight? But we've both got to do our bit. James's beard doesn't do too bad, does it?
Yeah, they've
something
got me.
to look at.
I've got fans. Not as many fans as Courtney, but they've got me. I'm sure I'll do, guys.
Got no fans. Got no fans.
Got no fans. I maybe might tie my my shirt up into a bit of a crop top. And
You'll get your 10k followers, mate. Just whack it in there, it'll be fine.
Yeah, floor some of my assets. But we love Courtney.
No, we do. She knows we're only joking, but she's done very well. She's only really kind of joined the scene recently. She's up to 10k on Twitter, so fair play to her, doing lots of good content. Was at the Milan game as well, which you really enjoyed. What a fantastic game that was. We've not really spoke about that on this channel. So quick 60 seconds from each of you guys. What did you make of that crazy match? Statman, I'll start with you.
Yeah, I mean, just total dominance, wasn't it? Apart from a crazy 5 minutes, total dominance.
Yeah,
unbelievable. I did not see that game coming. I mean, 35 minutes in, I think we had 12 corners. About 16 shots, 12 of them on target, something crazy like that, and it was only 1-0. So that's the dangerous thing when it's only 1-0, anything can happen. And apart from them crazy 5 minutes, we totally dominated the game.
No, I agree. James, you did the same, I imagine.
That game was wild. That game is not good for the blood pressure. I can tell you that, because that like 15-minute spell from Milan was crazy, and Trent's been getting a lot of stick on socials. And to start with, I thought he was to blame. When you look at the camera angle, what's seen on TV, you think, yeah, he's to blame. But we have to give massive credit to our Aussie contingency. The Red Sea podcast Down Under does it again with the training ground, and they highlighted that actually it was the midfield that was to blame. The midfield bottomed out, and the three in midfield from Milan were actually in behind them. The recovery run was difficult, and they capitalised with a ball in behind. First time finish, caught Alison Becker unawares. That kind of finish as a goalkeeper, you struggle to keep that out. So massive credit to Milan. They were waiting for that opportunity. They saw a deficiency, and they executed it and went for the jugular. So credit to them. But the sheer determination and strength and desire from Liverpool Football Club, as we always show, the resiliency from Liverpool Football Club to come back and win it 3-2. And my God, what a strike from Jordan Henderson.
Yeah.
Olympiacos 2.0. I'm Olympiacos 2.0. It just gave me those kind of vibes. Sensational.
Jordan Gerrard. It was very special. It was a great finish, and a goal to win any game. And who doesn't love a comeback against AC Milan, right? So we're up on the head-to-head now, aren't we, Statman? We've got a better head-to-head now with Milan, because it was 1-1, wasn't it, at the minute?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, 2-1 now.
No, it was quality. But we've got some good guys in the comments. We've got Hector, evening to you, mate. We've got Chris as well. Henderson's strike was Gerrard's strike limbs. It was Gerrard vibes all round, wasn't it? But James, did you have anything else you wanted to say?
Yeah, just quickly, and I'm sure it's a difficult one for me, right? And I'm sure we all saw the fanfare from Sonny's comments on the terrace after the game. And do you know what? I like Sonny. I've had a couple of people slide in my DMs and say that I kind of went from a little bit and kind of I started the onslaught, and I just wanted to be very clear, not at all. You know, a lot of my comments when I come on Twitter are very blunt, but very, very kind of out of context in some way, shape, or form. And I've spoken to Sonny on a personal level since in the DMs, and I've been straight. Like, dude, like, you need to atone for those comments. Like, you know, because that take was wild. It was a wild take. And I've been on shows with Sonny before, and he's a top lad. And I wanted to say that openly on my own forum. He's a top lad. I've enjoyed the couple of shows that I did with him on the Premier League show with Niall and the other guys as well. But that take was wild.
Well, we've got to look forward. Obviously, that was Milan, but we've got Eagle Eyed Football. They were on your show, weren't they? Statman on Rivals Point of View. So evening to them. Thank you for joining again. That's really appreciated. We've got Jack in the comments as well. Hope you're well. Hope you're well as well, mate. Cannot wait for the Palace game. Another massive 3 points. We're going to be getting into score predictions in a little while as well. And a good friend of the show, Dave's LFC chats. Really, really good content from him. Go and subscribe to Dave. We need to keep up the momentum tomorrow. We should be too good for Palace. He's going 2-0, so early prediction laid down for Dave.
Save it, Dave. Dave, save it. Save it,
well,
Dave,
we're going to start where we always start, and we've got Statman Stubbs on the recent head-to-heads. I hope I haven't dropped that on you. I hope you have done your homework.
No, I'm prepared. I'm prepared.
As always, I wouldn't expect any less.
Always prepared, mate. So yeah, in total, 44 games, 42 of them have been in the Premier League. 21 games at Anfield, 23 games at Selhurst Park. So the record at Anfield of the 21 games is Liverpool 12 victories, Palace 6, and there's been 5 draws. At Selhurst Park, Liverpool have got 15 victories, Palace 4 and 2 draws. Interestingly as well, which is a good stat, there's been 142 goals. Liverpool have got 100 of them. So Palace have only scored 42 goals in 42 matches against us. So one a game, basically. So last 5 fixtures, 2-0, then 4-0, 4-3, which was interestingly the last 3 p.m. kickoff against Crystal Palace, what we played. Was 4-3, so hopefully it's not going to be 4-3 again. Before that was 1-0 Palace, 1-0 Liverpool, and then it was the game which, before we went on the massive unbeaten run, we obviously got beat by 2-1. So as you can see, that gives a sort of indication of where we are. But generally speaking, home and away, we've got a good record against them.
I think that was the added die.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
I mean, I'm slightly taken aback by
last season.
Oh, SS is cutting in and out.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's his signal at the moment on his broadband. But guys, I'll quickly jump in. I mean, I'm slightly taken aback by the head-to-head. I was expecting us to have more of that. To be fair, in terms of the head-to-head, I was expecting us to be way ahead of them, because if you think back to like the recent results, and the absolute hidings that we've handed out to Palace.
Well, when you think about it, in total of them 44 games, though, when you take it in the context, Liverpool have won 26 of the 42 games. Palace have only won 9, and there's been 7 draws. So we are massively dominating the games. So them stats hopefully will continue come 5 p.m. on Saturday evening.
Oh, definitely, and I'm expecting that to be the case. I'd be very surprised at Anfield if Palace came and got a result. And I think that nicely leads us on to the defensive partnership for Liverpool. I mean, do we expect Klopp to rotate? Will Konate make his debut, or is he going to stick with that, that VVD Matip partnership, which seems to be back in full effect? And guys in the comments as well, we want to know your thoughts as well. Do we expect
Yeah.
Jurgen Klopp to rotate his defensive options? Do we expect him to have a reshuffle? Are we going to see Ibrahim Konate actually make his Premier League debut? You know, on in the game against Palace.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to look at it well. Obviously, Van Dijk was rested in midweek, so you can guarantee he'll be starting again on Saturday. It's whether or not he potentially rests Matip, because obviously Matip played alongside Joe Gomez. Can he play again? Potentially not. So maybe there is that option there of maybe giving Konate his debut. Why not? What's the worst that could happen? I think he's a decent player. He's shown that, so I'm sure he'll do pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, you're right, but there's obviously the prospect of Norwich in the cup on Tuesday. Does Klopp have one eye on that, thinking could that be the perfect game to maybe bed Ibrahim Konate into, as opposed to a game with Crystal Palace where Benteke is going to look to go into battle with those centre backs? That's his game. Now, I'm not sitting here saying that Konate is incapable or isn't up to the challenge of dealing with Christian Benteke, but Palace have in the past presented a banana skin for Liverpool. But we're going to get onto that a little bit later in the show. I mean, SS, you know, what's your thoughts? Like, come on, drop it like it's hot.
They're going centre backs.
Is he going to rotate? Yeah, is he going to rotate or is he not? Because I know you've got some opinions. So, like, what are we thinking?
I mean, Van Dijk, I agree with Statman's. Van Dijk plays from the start in the Premier League 38 times, unless we're playing, you know, Christmas period. He might have a rest in between if we've got 3 games in 5 days. But I think Matip definitely drops out this weekend. There's no way he plays weekend, midweek, weekend as well. But is it a bit harsh to just suddenly drop Gomez out and just chuck Konate in for no reason? I mean, Gomez only just played, you know, Wednesday. Is he all right to play again Saturday? He's coming back from a horrible injury, but we've got options, haven't we? And you know, you make a good point, James. We've got Norwich midweek next week. That's kind of a perfect game to chuck probably Nat Phillips and Konate into to both get their first minutes.
Oh,
did you catch that? I'll go Van Dijk and Gomez.
Yeah.
I think as well, obviously, I don't know if I was watching a different game to you, but I thought Gomez really wasn't up to the speed at all on Wednesday night. I think he was all over the place, and it looked like on long periods of the game anyway that Matip was like having to cover his own space, but also looking after Gomez as well. I thought Gomez, obviously, he hasn't got that match sharpness yet, but I just think he looked a little bit lost. I don't know what your sort of thoughts are on that as well, because for me, I thought he looked lost.
Yeah, sorry, James.
No. Sorry, I thought it was a question for me.
Just anyone really, yeah.
Yeah, you make a fair point, Statman, because watching the game, he did look a little bit out of sorts.
Yeah.
But SS, what do you reckon that's just match? Do you reckon that's just match fitness? Because you could be fit, and these are athletes, yeah. They're fit, they're physically fit, but physically fit and match fit is different.
It's completely different.
It's a different.
Yeah, level. I mean, I think it's tough because you know Matip got.
Oh, he looks like he's staring at us. Looks like he's staring at the stars.
It's like I said yesterday, though, on the podcast yesterday. You can look really great in 5-a-side, but when you come to 11-a-side, it's a completely different ball game, isn't it? And like Jack said on here, it's great to have options at the back. Unlike last year, exactly, couldn't agree more. I would like to see Konate there starting on Saturday alongside Van Dijk, because in all fairness, Van Dijk could make me and you look like world beaters. To be honest, he's just that good. But in all honesty, potentially, I think Klopp will revert back to Van Dijk and Matip, if I'm honest, and then I think Konate will obviously definitely play on Tuesday night against Norwich. I think that's the way he's going to go. I don't see him changing it too much. It'll be 2, maybe 3 changes as usual.
Yeah, no. Again, you make a good point, and ultimately, this is the Premier League. Whilst we're sitting here saying that our head-to-head is better than Crystal Palace, we should have the edge on them. We think about the 7 that we slapped against them last year, and you would expect us to do something very similar at Anfield, but we have to give them their respect. This is one of the most difficult leagues in the world. This isn't the French league. It's not the French league. Let's have it as it is. This is the Premier League. Any team on any day can get beat. Crystal Palace could turn up and spring an absolute surprise at Anfield. They totally can. And Eagle-Eyed Football makes some really, really good point here as well. Edouard needs to start. And it's interesting because when we think about Palace have gone through some major surgery in the summer. They went into the season with probably almost half of their first team out of contract. That's massive. And we've seen them do something similar before with the Frank de Boer era.
Yeah.
Where they tried that new kind of style of football. And how many games was it before he got binned off? It was quick.
I think it was 6 or 7 games, something like that, wasn't it? They didn't score a goal.
That's it.
Absolutely crazy, yeah.
Mental.
I'm sure Eagle-Eyed Football will let you know the proper figure with regards to Frank de Boer, but it definitely wasn't any more than 10 fixtures before he got the boot, because I know that they didn't even score a goal. So
yeah, it was hard viewing, obviously, for the Palace fans, I'm sure. But I mean, they've made some shrewd acquisitions over the summer, and we've seen Edouard coming from Celtic, and Eagle-Eyed Football is saying that Edouard needs to start. I mean, Eagle-Eyed, you want to jump in the comments and tell us a little bit about Edouard and what you think to his performances thus far. I haven't been watching, to be honest. Eagle-Eyed jumped in and said he was sacked after 5 games. Mental. Yeah, and also chipped in and said he was toxic behind the scenes. Really?
Is that De Boer?
Yeah, I wouldn't have expected that of one of the most celebrated Dutch footballers of his generation. I remember watching World Cup '98, and him and his brother were on absolute smoke in World Cup '98.
That Holland team was a joke, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was insane. So I wouldn't describe him as a toxic character, but Eagle-Eyed Football, you'll know more. But again, just in regards to Palace's threats, I mean, is Benteke a spent force? Ex Liverpool player. You almost think that it is the kind of perfect storm for him to come back to Anfield. I know he's been gone for some time now. What, 3-4 seasons he's been gone? Yeah. But it's almost a perfect storm for him to come back to Anfield and do some real damage to our title charge. Essentially, because we're unbeaten at the moment. I know we're only 3-4 games in. I get it, but still, unbeaten is still a decent position to be in, considering there's probably 4 teams vying for the title.
Yeah.
So do you think, Statman, that Benteke can come back and haunt us at Anfield?
I mean, if you look at the last time Crystal Palace won at Anfield, he got both the goals in a 2-1 victory, didn't he? So he's got the potential. There's no doubt about that. And when he played for Villa, every time he was either it was at Villa Park or Anfield, he generally seemed to score against us. So obviously he is a threat, especially up in the air. He's obviously aging a little bit now. I think he's getting into his 30s now, I think, potentially. So if I had the choice, I would rather Liverpool be facing Benteke rather than Edouard, because I think I was very surprised that Celtic let him go for, I think, £20 million, which is nothing in this day and age. And he's a natural goal scorer. He offers a lot. I've watched a bit of Celtic and Edouard, and he is a definite a dangerous player to watch out. Can't give him a sniff inside the box.
I mean, Benteke's 30, and you'd expect a player of 30 to be coming into their prime. SS is back and he's switched locations.
I've tried to go for the phone. I've gone for the phone. I don't know what's going on with the laptop today.
No problem. But yeah, you'd expect a player like Benteke to still pose some kind of threat. And I mean, on the Edouard one, Celtic are a selling club. Let's keep it real. They're a selling club. They're a selling club. So if a team comes in with a suitable bid, they're going to sell that player. Yeah. Also, Edouard's probably looking at it thinking Premier League football. I can come into the Premier League and show what I can do in that sense as well. Eagle-eyed Football jumps back in the comments as well. Answer to your question, Edouard is dynamic, can finish both feet, and is both a fox in the box and can drop deep. To get him for 14 M's plus add-ons is a steal. Yeah. Eagle-eyed, I don't know enough about him. Obviously, you hear things from what's going on north of the border, but up there isn't really, is it? Yeah. It's not too vibrant, is it? So you don't really.
It's not Henrik Larsson, is he?
That's it.
No. I mean, Edouard or Origi, I think I'd probably go for the first one.
Yeah, let's not. We don't want to wrap. We don't want to.
What did I miss anyway? While my McDonald's Wi-Fi was playing up, what did I miss?
Yeah. So we were just saying about Edouard and his potential threats to Liverpool, and also we touched quickly on Christian Benteke as well. Could Christian Benteke come back to Anfield and, haunt us? SS.
Surely Edouard starts, doesn't he, after his cameo against Spurs, and Benteke probably comes on for the cameo in this game, doesn't he? I mean, I think Benteke was bang average when we bought him, bang average when we sold him, and he's bang average now. I think, what did he go like? He went a long time without scoring a goal, didn't he? As well. So I'm not too sure how he's still getting in the Belgium squad, but he's an old-fashioned number 9, but he's just lost his spark, isn't he? So I mean, he's a worse version of Lukaku, and we kept him quiet, didn't we? So there's no way he's getting scoring a goal.
Well, I can tell you how he's still getting in the Belgium squad, because Origi's not getting in the Belgian squad. Yeah. And
I think Trossard gets in there somehow.
That's what I'm saying. And Batshuayi's not getting in the Belgium squad. So you pick the best from a bad bunch, don't you? Let's be honest. Yeah. You're picking the best from a bad bunch. I mean, Benteke wise, I liked him at Aston Villa. I liked him. Mm. I enjoyed watching him at Aston Villa, and we can't sit here and not say that we were not excited when Liverpool made that signing. I felt that we were trying to roll the years back a little bit with that little and large kind of combo.
We just buy whoever scores against us. That's basically what
exactly. We were saying that earlier. We were saying that Benteke, every time he played against us for Villa, didn't matter if it was Villa or Park or Anfield, he generally scored. So
there's a list, isn't there? There's a list of players that we bought that because they've scored. Minamino's another one. I think Lallana scored a couple against us. We got him. Obviously. Mane, Klein scored a goal against us. We bought him. Yeah. Lovren scored against us for Southampton. We bought him as well.
You guys are blaspheming right now. You guys are absolutely blaspheming right now. Some of the players on that list, at that point, were the best available. Buy. Lallana was a sensational buy. The issue with Lallana was injuries. Injuries caught up with him. Because you think about the season before we bought him in and around the England squad, he was dominant. He was the first name on the England team sheet. Then he came in under Jurgen Klopp, first name on the Klopp team sheet. He'd done exceptionally well, but the injuries just played their part. Yeah,
I think he stood still, and the Liverpool team evolved around him, and he stood still, didn't he?
Yes.
He was a key cog in Klopp's first few seasons, and we added Mane, we added Salah, and suddenly Lallana found himself replaced because he wasn't available, and that was the key for him, really.
I agree. It's a massive shame. But just sticking on Benteke, I really liked him. Like I enjoyed watching him at Villa. I enjoyed watching him play.
Villa,
he's one of them players that he can shine in a small pond, but you put him in a big pond, he's not that.
I agree. Very, very, very well put, SS. Very, very well put. And with him, they played a particular brand of football. and that suited him. For us, we didn't really at that point we didn't really put crosses in the box. We didn't have a Trent in dominant form that he's in now. Can you imagine having a Benteke, a target man of that stature, in your squad now with Trent? That's lunch all day long. That's lunch.
Crazy, isn't it?
You're going to be sticking that ball up, and he's going to be nodding it home all the time.
And Andy Carroll's a free transfer.
Listen, we've been there. We've been there. But again, another target man, and on his day was exceptional in the air. Was exceptional, but we just didn't play the brand of football. I mean, you look at Benteke, and you made a good point when you say that you'd expect Virg to keep him quiet. I would expect Virgil van Dijk to keep him quiet. Yeah. But I still think he poses a risk. And that goal he scored against Manchester United, that consolation in the 2-1, sensational. Yeah. Everyone sits there and goes, oh, Wayne Rooney's overhead kick that came off his shin was fantastic. Like it was good because of the ilk and stature of the game. Yeah, to go on and win the game, it was monumental. But Benteke's technique was better. Let's be clear. Yeah? The technique was insane. He's caught hold of the ball. He's almost put the gear in the back of the net. If he gets anything on, he's in the back of the net with the ball. It was fucking mental. But
he just did it twice a season, didn't he? That was the problem.
Exactly.
He scored maybe 3 or 4 goals a season. One would be a goal of the month contender, goal of the season. But for when you're an out-and-out number 9, like you say, even if you're playing in a team that puts crosses in, you've got to be scoring 10, 15 goals minimum.
Yes.
And he doesn't do that.
Yeah, I agree. Big shout here from Jack the Mac LFC. Can't believe we got a return on Benteke. Well, that is because we have got Michael Edwards. Eat your heart out.
At the moment.
At the moment, yeah.
Well, that's
we don't do transfers anymore. We don't need directors of football now.
Benteke wasn't good, but still managed to score like 10 for us that season. Look, give him his props. He still chipped in, didn't he? It's a lot more than what Divock Origi's doing at the moment. But we won't get into that. I mean, let's jog it on slightly. I feel like I might have had to take over the hosting duties because of SS's broadband issues, but
and now I can't see the agenda because my phone's on the screen.
That's it. We won't slag off any broadband providers while we're on here as well. We don't want to get shut down. Look, it would be disrespectful once we're talking about key threats for Palace not to mention Wilfred Zaha.
Yeah,
he's an absolute wizard, isn't he? He's an absolute magician. Is he going to give Liverpool a torrid time because he almost has a free role, doesn't he? He does what he wants. So how do you track him? How do you keep Zaha quiet?
Statman?
It's difficult because, like I say, he's either one of them players who's either on song or the last few times I think he's gone off injured quite early on as well. So it depends what sort of Zaha you're going to get. But I used to hate it when we played Palace because Townsend as well, Andros Townsend, who's obviously now across Stanley Park at Everton, he always used to have a good game. So obviously him and Zaha together, I think they'll try and target Trent. I think that's what Zaha will look to do, play on the left-hand side and maybe target Trent. But yeah, I mean, they've bought well this season. Obviously, they've got Conor Gallagher as well on loan from Chelsea. He's a decent player. He scored a couple of goals. Milivojevic, obviously, if they get a free kick or a penalty, he's generally the one that takes them. And obviously, Edouard, Benteke, they've got options there as well. So it's not like a few seasons ago or even last season when we beat them 7-0, they didn't really have any options realistically off the bench anyway, even to change the game. Obviously, that game couldn't have been changed anyway. It was obviously already gone anyway, but their bench it was obviously shocking, whereas now they've got a few options. So, but yeah, it's difficult to keep Zaha quiet, to be honest. It just maybe put in a strong challenge first couple of minutes, see how he reacts to that, because he might go off the boil a little bit. But I still think we're going to have more than enough to obviously win this game. So I'm not really worried about him, to be honest.
Yeah, you make a good point. I mean, and SS, I'll come to you on this one. This for me is almost a battle of wills, yeah. Because if
Literally.
No, it is.
Well, Battle of Wilts.
Yeah, Wilts. Because if Zaha, if Trent vacates that space to get forward,
Yeah.
that space is available for Zaha on a counter attack because he ain't defending. He ain't dropping back in and defending.
I think Klopp's going to be aware of this. I think if you stop Zaha, you stop Palace. I think that was Tottenham's mistake at the last weekend because Palace have looked very ordinary in the first few games of the season. And like you said, Zaha traditionally used to pick a wing and stick to it, and now kind of has that free role and kind of, mirages across the pitch and finds the weakest opponent and sticks to them. And there's a fair few to choose from in the Spurs team. But I think Klopp will look at it and I think he'll say to Trent, be aware. If Zaha's on your side, let Robbo go. You stick with him. If Zaha goes central, Fabinho and Van Dijk, you sandwich him in. You don't let him get a run on you. And again, if he drifts over to the right hand side, then I think Robertson will pick him up. And I think they'll be very, very clever with getting him because, as you say, if you stop that, I think you stop the threat. And we mentioned Benteke, we mentioned Edouard. Well, they've got to have someone supplying them, and realistically, it's only really Zaha that's going to do that because we're going to have all the ball. We're going to play 95% of the game in their half. They're going to hit us on the counter every single time. They're either going to do the big long ball up to the main man to hold it up and release Zaha on the overlap, or they're going to do a big long ball out wide to Zaha. Hope he beats his man and gets the cross into someone that can keep up with him. So if we mark him out of the game, they shouldn't pose an issue, and we should keep a clean sheet.
You make some good points there, but I've been looking a little bit at Palace, and they look like they've changed. They look like they've changed. Not in a sense that I expect a shock result. Palace under Roy Hodgson would have parked 10 men behind the bus.
Yeah.
10, forget it. All 11 would have been behind. All sat in saying, break us down. Yeah. I think under Patrick Vieira, and it's important to mention him because he's a new manager in, they look more expansive. They look like they actually want to play football. They look like they want to be progressive and pass the ball. Whereas with Roy, it was like, right, we're under attack, Scott down, lump it forward, Zaha run onto it, Benteke nod it down, and we'll sneak a snatch and grab, and then we'll sit in for the other 95 minutes. Or sorry, the other 85 minutes. Where I don't see that with this team. I see a team that wants to be progressive. I see a team that wants to break the lines. I see a team that wants to counter-attack, which could pose problems. We spoke about it earlier on in the pod. We were shocked by 15 minutes of football from AC Milan. And had they been more resolute in their defending, that 15 minutes of football could have undone us. We've seen it happen. We saw it happen last season. Teams having 15 minutes to 20-minute cameos in games, and us going one goal down and then struggling to break them down. So SS, you were right. We need to be vigilant of the threats that Crystal Palace have, because hell do I want to be going 1-0 down to Crystal Palace? Hell no. Hell no. Because it then becomes a chore to break the low block down. And we know that Liverpool, once we come up against these teams that play low block, we somewhat struggle. So is that the opportunity for my son to come into the game and pass Palace to death? SS, I'll come to you.
Yeah, it's a tricky one, isn't it? I mean, I kind of said on the Fab 4 on Tuesday that I thought everybody that didn't start that game that you'd look at as a first team player will almost certainly start this one. And then it's, there's again 4 or 5 positions that you could rotate back in again. So, Henderson played brilliantly. You'd expect him to start captain in the Premier League, wouldn't you? Fabinho is a mainstay, and obviously Harvey Elliott has been starting in the Premier League and now can't for a while. So, yeah, I mean, Thiago, I don't like it when people say, he's not a person that can come in here, or he's not good for this, or he's you have to play him from the start. He's a midfielder for Liverpool. You do what you're asked, you do what you need to do. Yeah. You can't specialise, I'm only good against the bottom 6 teams. You need to be good against everybody. So if he's not good enough for everybody, he needs to leave. Obviously, he's good enough for everybody. So if he's the third best midfielder at the moment, you start him in the game, don't you? It doesn't matter if it's Palace or Chelsea. So I'd expect that to be the midfield three. The front three, as Statman has been saying, usually picks itself. I doubt we'll see. I doubt we'll see Divock come back in again after his. Well, we won't get into that game, but some people thought he played well.
But Willie though, and I have to press you on this, yeah.
All right.
And I just wanna, and I'm glad you've led into this. You fell into my trap. I'm glad you said this, right? Because news broke the other day about Klopp's comments on Origi, and Jurgen Klopp. And again, I don't necessarily want to quote, yeah, but I will quote. I'll do it. I'll quote, yeah. Obviously, people don't watch football enough. Jurgen Klopp admits that he is shocked. Hold on a second, gents. Right. Obviously, people don't watch football enough. Jurgen Klopp admits that he was shocked at a proper offer didn't come in for outstanding Divock Origi, even though he has left him out of the squad entirely in recent weeks. Though that is what the headline in the Mail said, yeah? And Jurgen Klopp said, right, that ultimately Liverpool were prepared to sell Divock Origi in the summer, but offers didn't arrive. If he's a top player and Klopp suggests he's a top player, why did no offers come in for him? Why is
he leaving him out of the squad when the transfer window is already closed? It's not, he knows what he's got. He's got him. If he's going to use him and he's a top player, then he's gone from not being on the bench to starting. It makes no sense.
Exactly. And our very own PK from the Red Sea down under, our Aussie contingent. I've just woke up, fellas, because they're obviously in a different time zone to us. And the first thing I have to hear is Origi. Come on, man. PK, we're not trying to make your ears bleed, but we have to get into this because Klopp came out and has almost kind of backed his man. But I look at it from another perspective. He's plumping the goose. He's fattening the goose.
You know what he's doing? He's waiting for a nice 10 million bid in January, which we can spend on nobody.
Good old next spend.
John W. Henry can come in and go, I'll have that. Thank you.
Ka-ching. And can I have someone else that I need? No, you can't. You can just promote. That's fine.
Yeah. But like I said, I just feel like those comments there, Statman, I'll give you the floor on this one. Are those comments there designed to protect value? Is that what it is? Is he protecting value? Because he's available on a free in the summer. Also, in January, if he wants to, he can sign a Bosman deal with a foreign club. So,
I didn't realize that.
Is that those comments there designed to protect value? Because we've seen it in transfer windows before. Teams at the bottom of the Premier League will go out and buy a striker in January because they're at the bottom of the Prem. Southampton could be at the bottom in Prem in January and need a striker. Burnley are in the mud, could be at the bottom of the Prem in January, need a striker. Norwich, another team, could be at the bottom of the Prem in January, need a striker. So is Klopp playing 3D chess? This is what I want to know.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, Wolves is another team that you can throw in the mix. We've got a good relationship with Wolves, so I wouldn't mind a cheeky 10 million bid from them to obviously to offer Div out of the club. He's had his moments, like I say. I think the best time to obviously capitalise on Divock's value would have been obviously after the Champions League final against Spurs. I think we missed the boat there really. But going back to it with Klopp's comments, yes, he's obviously protecting his assets. He wants to try and get the most money for him as possible. But one of the things that he generally says when he brings a shock, because obviously Divock, when we touched on and saying with the three strikers, we said they all picked themselves, and then obviously lo and behold, 7 p.m. on a Wednesday evening, we see his name on there. So it's that old cliche again where he says, obviously, well, I've seen him in training. He's been bright. He's been sharp. He done the same with Ox as well, and then obviously brings him in. Then Ox was poor. I mean, I'll say what you normally say, Thiago Silva. Give him his flowers. He played well. He did play well for sort of 60 minutes until he got his usual injury. But again, it's all this. Go back to Klopp when he says they've done something in training. He's earned that start, and then 9 times out of 10, generally they sort of don't play well. Whereas on this occasion, I thought Divock, he put himself about there, made himself physical, chased down the ball, pressed, done everything right apart from obviously his injury. So yeah, he's just
ran out of steam, didn't he? It looked like he's just had enough.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm sorry, I'm fit, I'm done.
So let's get into some of these comments, because there is some comments in here that I want to pull up. Yeah,
we've already seen Minamino start, won't we, Saturday now, out of the blue.
yeah.
So PK comes in. Champions League appearances increase value. I agree, they do. Player appears in the Champions League. Teams get all starry-eyed and go, he's made a Champions League appearance. He better bid an extra 5 million for him.
He gets a blue FIFA card as well, doesn't he?
Exactly. There you go. Yeah, there you go. Ratings on FIFA go up. PK also comes in with the big comment as well. Go back to last season. We needed freshness. We needed help up front, and he wasn't used. He's trying to sell him off. And SS, you and I have been extremely vocal about the lack of support from the backup brigade last season. When we were in a time of need, these players, Origi, Ox, Shaqiri, Naby, Timikas to a degree, were all found wanting, not available, couldn't come in and produce the goods for us and dig us out of holes. So I agree with you there, PK. But the one I really, really want to throw up, the one I really want to put on here now, okay? KT. You knew you had to whisper this one quietly, bro. Listen, come out and say it with your chest, KT. Yeah, I'd like to see Div get minutes tomorrow and start against Norwich.
He's injured, isn't he?
I was going to say it depends on his injury.
Exactly.
Yeah,
it depends on that injury.
Yeah.
As to whether he will.
I mean, you only get 3 subs in the Premier League. He's not worth one of them. So
no,
not for me.
Well, this is it. Do you know what? I agree with part of it. Play against Norwich, because we need to protect the others for the fixture congestion that's about to come up. As we approach the busy fixture period, it starts to get more congested. Yeah, coming into October, it gets congested. Cup games, Champions League, Premier League. Heading into Christmas, the double headers, the back-to-backs heading into Christmas. So we need to have one eye on those fixtures, and what's coming up. So I do agree with the Norwich side of things. But for me, he played well in the Champions League game. In the minutes that he played well. Yeah. I'm not going to sit here and say he didn't. He was okay. He did enough. But I need to see it on a more consistent basis.
Oh, definitely.
I think I have a much higher expectation than most, because I thought he was useless.
He was at the heart of some good things. You got to look at the assist.
Yeah, the assist.
That was a bit of clever thinking to shuffle your feet and play that ball and loop that ball in, inch perfect pass onto Mo Salah. That's got to take some technique. His hold up play was good as well, and he was breaking the line. So I'll be kind and say that's a 6 to 7 out of 10 performance from Divock Origi. But you don't see those performances often enough. And I don't want to hear, he doesn't get picked. He's had so many opportunities to come into the squad. And unfortunately, like last year, he was found wanting. So that does allow the manager to have lack of trust in his ability. Lack of trust in his availability. Because again, if you take Klopp's comments and you take them as what they are, Klopp rates him. Or he's fattening up the goose. But
he's going to get much if he's only got 6 months left, is he?
Well, this is what I'm saying. In the January window, a lower club might take a punt. But if Divock Origi's got other ideas and an offer comes abroad, he's off. Signs a pre-contract, and then in the summer he departs on a free. But where Liverpool are concerned, they might look at Wolves. Wolves aren't exactly playing the best football at the moment. I've mentioned Burnley. I've mentioned Southampton. Those are the kind of teams that may turn around and say, do you know what? Can we buy Divock Origi? We'll give you £10 million because we're in need right now. Or they may even turn around and say, can we loan him until the end of the season and we'll pay you £5 million loan fee?
Yeah,
we know
that's what-
FSG are all about numbers, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it could happen. Another comment in here from KT as well. He needs to build some rhythm though. You can't throw him in once in 10 games and expect him to be match sharp. Fair point. Fair point. Fair point. I'll take that. Fair point. SS. As we jog it along slightly.
Yeah.
What I want to do is take us back to a place. Take us back to a very dark place.
Oh god, not Chris Istanbul.
Yeah, Chris Istanbul.
Oh dear.
Selhurst Park 2014, where we arguably saw Palace spring an absolute shock and probably put our title challenge to bed. That was the year where we all thought we're going to win the league. We all thought that we were going to do it. We were on the cusp of lifting that trophy. Tell me, SS, where did you watch the game? Where were you? And guys, in the comments, we want us to tell us where you were and where you watched the game and what you were feeling when you saw that game going on.
I mean, so correct me if I'm wrong, but this was the game after the Chelsea slip, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're now relying on goal difference and a pretty crazy swing, weren't we? So we're 3-0 up, we're cruising. I'm watching it at home and I'm thinking, all right, we're 3-0 up. Oh, what was that? I missed that comment. So, yeah, exactly. I need to get one of them for my new place. Nice little ring light. But I think the problem was, I think the problem was that realistically, the goal difference was never going to make a difference in that league. In that decided where that title went. So if you're 3-0 up away from home, going for the jugular is a really silly idea. Let's try and win 6-0, 7-0. We wouldn't have won the title if we won that one 10-0. We'd have still lost the title on points, not on goals. So I think it was a very silly decision by Rodgers. Really, we were only really carried that entire season by Luis Suarez's magnificence, weren't we? We didn't really have a title-winning team, in my opinion. I think we had one of the best players to ever have a top season
as well. Don't forget.
We did, but I don't think Sturridge scores that many goals without being up front with Suarez. I think he was the man made that team.
Whoa, hold up.
That wasn't a title-winning team for me.
Whoa. Yes. SS throws in the fucking curveball of all curveballs. Yeah. Hold on. Catch that, Thiago's father. Catch that, dude. Like, let's clarify these comments. What are you saying?
Oh, go on. Premier League teams that are going to win the title don't chuck 3-0 leads away. That doesn't happen. That's why you don't win the title.
Okay. Let's be clear. Let's be very, very clear. You are right in what you're saying, but that team knew its deficiencies, and its deficiencies were defensively.
Absolutely. So, I think we had 50 goals in that season, didn't we?
Oh, it was stupid. It was stupid. But
madness. No one wins the league with that.
No, but we knew our deficiencies. So based on that, as we knew our deficiencies, we also knew our strengths. Our strengths were scoring goals. Yeah. So I like to refer to it as you score 2, we score 4. You score 3, we score 6. You score 4, and we're going to score 8. That was how we played football.
Wasn't there a Cardiff game that season that was similar? Away to Cardiff. I mean,
6-3. Yeah.
This is what I'm saying. It was like that. We knew our deficiencies and we knew our strengths, but the SAS was fucking insane.
Oh, it was. But Sturridge. That was Sturridge's one season in his career where he actually did something. We had Luis Suarez, who's one of the greatest strikers of this century.
You're throwing shade on my boy Studge's name. I can't.
It was great. It was great. But without Suarez in that team, that we wouldn't come anywhere near the title. That was one of the best seasons by a player of all time.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
So I mean, he carried us. But yeah, looking at the Chris Istanbul game, yeah, if they'd have got it back to 3-2, then yeah, you go back for a goal. But at 3-0 up, it was very silly to try and get more. I never looked at Dwight Gale the same again.
Yeah. So where were you on that day? Where did you watch the game?
Oh God, I buried that deep down. Probably at home watching it. But yeah, it's not one I look back with fondness, like you said about the Istanbul game. You know, obviously everybody remembers where they were watching that, who they were with.
Yeah.
But yeah, Istanbul, I have very, very nice memories about that one. And you know, we were running away with that league. I think Man City had games in hand, didn't they? So they were always gonna, you know, have a chance to catch us. And when we beat them, I was thinking, you know, this is the time. But as soon as that Chelsea game happened, I think that was the moment we lost the league, not the Palace game. I think it had already gone by then.
Well, Statman, I'm gonna come to you. Where were you? You know, on that. I feel like I'm running like a therapy session. Where were you? Yeah. Where were you when you watched that? When you watched that game, and please care to relive the trauma. You're in a safe space. You can talk.
Well,
I'm Statman. I'm an
it was sort of a double whammy for me because I actually worked nights back then for the place I'm currently at the moment. So I was watching it on Sky Go on my phone whilst I was supposedly supposed to be working. So I do remember it very well, 3-0 up. And then obviously going back to 3-3 and the game finished. And then I still had about 10 hours left of my shift to obviously try and get through. So obviously it was a double whammy. Obviously I was still at work and I had to try and get myself over that horrible result. So yeah, not one of the greatest days being a Liverpool fan, but you take the good with the bad as well. Obviously emotional roller coasters, we like to say. But yeah, I was at work doing nights, watching it on Sky Go on my phone.
Right. PK agrees with USS. I agree with SS. The league was done after the Chelsea match. Mourinho and his fucking puffer vest.
There's a first time for everything. Me and PK agreeing. There you go.
Yeah. So, do you know, massive comment in here from Jericho. We only had 2 world-class players in that team.
I agree. Gerrard and Suarez. That was it.
I disagree. The reason, and just to address this before I discuss my trauma.
Iago Aspas, that was the third one, wasn't it?
Oh, God.
But listen, Iago Aspas, before he came, was doing well in La Liga. Yeah. He came to us and it was like a totally different player. Went back to La Liga and started ripping it up again.
Yeah.
So it's just like, what did we do wrong with Iago Aspas? But
didn't give him corner training, did we? Didn't tell him how to beat the first man.
He could never beat the first man, could he?
No,
and we continued to put him on corners. It was like, why are we persisting with putting this man on corners? He can just about tie his own shoelace. Why are we giving him a corner? But I just think in that team, Sturridge was unplayable that year. And we might turn around and say it's because of the brilliance of Suarez. You know, Suarez influenced everybody around him. He was insane. But Daniel Sturridge was unplayable that year. You couldn't get near to him. You could not get in. And there was this blazing rivalry between him and Suarez. Who's the main man? Who's not the main man? Who's going to score the goals? Who's not going to lead the line? Who's the better goal scorer? Who's not the best scorer? Who had the repertoire of finish? They were just going at each other. It was the perfect storm for both players, and they both rose to the occasion. Ultimately, Suarez fueled Sturridge. Yeah, Suarez fueled him with just that sheer competitive edge and that competitive nature. And Luis Suarez was just a fearsome contender, fearsome competitor.
You just have to look at where their careers went, though, after that, don't you? Suarez went on to Barcelona, won multiple trophies, scored incredible amounts of goals, and you know, Sturridge ended up at Trabzonspor, betting on his own transfer and getting it wrong.
But that's injuries, though. That's injuries. There's nothing else apart from injuries.
But I mean, world class. The definition of world class isn't play well for 38 games, is it?
No. And I feel honestly, with Sturridge, I think we were looking at a generational talent in terms of a striker. Him in terms of a finisher, and guys, I'm gonna say it, in terms of a finisher, because at that point we had 2 players vying for that England #1 striker spot, Harry Kane and Daniel Sturridge. Daniel Sturridge is 10 times the finisher Harry Kane was. 10 times the finisher. 10 times. Better repertoire of finish. All types of goals.
I could not disagree with you more on that one.
Nah, dude, go
Harry
back.
Kane, greatest finisher I think the Prem has ever seen.
He is now because he's now elevated. At
Thierry,
that point,
Thierry Henry as well.
Yeah.
At that point when Daniel Sturridge and Harry Kane were vying for that position, Daniel Sturridge was a better finisher. And if you had Daniel Sturridge fit now with that repertoire of finish versus Harry Kane fit now, there's going to be some competition there because Daniel Sturridge was that capable of finishing. You look at Klopp's comments when he came in. I'm looking forward to seeing Daniel Sturridge. He was injured, come back, and he's like, boom. That's what all the fuss is about. Because he was insane. He was insane as a finisher. Outrageous goals he'd score. What's the one where he goes, because he's a lefty, it was against Stoke. He's gone round the whole team and it's getting away from him and he pokes it in on the offside of his left.
And that's a great goal. That scene. The one against Chelsea as well, when he just curled it into the top corner as well. Brilliant.
West Brom as well.
West Brom. The one at Villa Park was good as well.
Outrageous. The City
Arsenal,
one from outside the box.
Win.
Yeah, the City one from outside the box, where he's just gone. There's no option. So do you know what? Joe Hart, eat your heart out. Have that. Outrageous. Yeah. So
Chelsea top bins as well.
Chelsea
Yeah.
top
I
bins.
was saying earlier, yeah.
The header where he's run back post and basically think it's going out and he's managed to get his head on it and get it in it. Mate, outrageous finisher. Outrageous. Generation.
Anyway, Palace, score predictions. We need to get back on track.
Palace score predictions. Before we do, that game, I actually went on a stadium tour that day.
Oh,
to
nice.
Liverpool. And I was and I remember meeting one of the stewards on a stadium tour. And him saying, what do you reckon the score's going to be? And I said, I've got a funny feeling about today. So I may have given it the kiss of death. And I remember coming home and watching it with my missus. My missus said, you should have kept your mouth shut. You gave it the kiss of death. PK in the comments. Skirtle, Coutinho was up and coming there. Decent squad, but not deep enough to win the league that year. Again, Manchester City had ultimate squad depth. PK again. Love this one. Sturridge is a better finisher than Salah, Mane, Firmino, but couldn't stay fit.
Not better than Salah, no. The other two, yes.
He's a better finisher.
Not than Salah.
He's a better finisher than Salah.
No chance.
Sturridge scored. You know what, guys? The poll after the game is coming out. We've not done a poll for ages. It's
been a while.
Yeah. The poll after the game is coming out. Who is a better finisher, Mohamed Salah or Daniel Sturridge? Now,
I guarantee you, it's Salah will win it by a landslide.
Probably, but I want people to consider a few things. We're not talking about the amount of goals scored. We're talking about repertoire of finish, types of goals. Yeah, different types of goals. And I feel if you look at different types of goals, it would be very difficult to separate them. We're not talking about how many goals. Yeah, I don't care about 100 club. Salute Mo Salah for that. But we're talking about repertoire of finish, the real dark art and the quality of finishing. But we're back on track. Score prediction. I'm going to let SS go first. Yes. You're going first now because I've clocked you. I'm on to you.
I like to hear everybody's thoughts first.
Yeah,
and then
I know you
mull
do.
it over a little bit.
Yeah, I know. You put it into that little mixer, don't you? And then you just blurt one out. I'm on to you.
That's
You're
not
going
fair.
first.
All right. I'm going to go for, it's 3 p.m, so it's a strange one because, normally you've got an atmosphere. Liverpool are usually televised 12:30. You get that kind of don't back the early kickoff, and at 5:30 the atmosphere is a bit different going on. But 3 p.m, it's a weird one, isn't it? So I don't see it being totally one-sided, even though lineup v lineup it should be. I think Palace might nick a goal, so I'm going to go for 2-1 to us.
Statman Stubbs.
I've written mine down.
SS has firmly hit that Federer baseline.
3-0. confidence.
You going 3-0.
Salah 2, Mane 1.
And score goal scorers as well. Woo!
Yeah,
He wants that behind the stat. He always drops the goal scorers on.
yeah.
Okay. Jericho. Facts. That's only going to be in response to PK's outrageous comment. I love PK. Tells it as it is.
Maybe it was back in me. Maybe it was back in me. You never know.
Yeah.
Jericho, clarify your comments for the audience. Score predicky. Who am I going? Where am I going? Oh, there it goes. Yes. Where am I going with this score prediction? Oh,
he's thinking about what we've said, just like he told me.
That's why I wrote mine down. So no one could say anything.
I'm only playing at your own game, SS. I'm only playing at your own game.
How many you got right this season, James? Is that 0? Oh, right, yeah.
No. I think no. I think I'm on 1 or 2.
No chance.
No,
I'm on 1 at least.
No,
I don't think you're even on 1.
You haven't got 1 yet.
No, I think I got the Burnley game, and you look like, no, you only copied me. That's what someone said. I got the Burnley game.
All right then. Fair
enough. I got the Burnley game.
What we on 3, aren't we already?
We're definitely on 3. Yeah.
Yeah, you're on 3. So this is a chance to get back in the mix.
You got to go different.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go different. Do I go super bossy and go and just predict another slapping? Yeah, and on cue.
Always.
The walls of Jericho on cue.
Just to let you know before you say anything, James. Peter, I think it was Peter or Nick on the Red Sea Down Under said he wants to get Chris Welsh and Jericho on because then it would be Chris Jericho.
Brilliant. I love that.
Carry on though.
You're going to make me want to go downstairs and do wrestling moves on the missus, like jump on the bed and put her in the walls of Jericho and so tell her to tap out. You're going to think what kind of crazy sex game we playing. It's me just reacting childhood fantasies. Right.
Watershed.
Oh, God.
You see how he's stalling. He's doing very well.
I don't. Do you know what, boys? I don't know whether to go super bossy and go and do this like a Jericho and go 7-0. Fuck it, or whether to just be conservative and say, do you know what? We're going to keep it nip and tuck. We're going to get in and out, nothing conceded. Yeah, with a nice 3-0. I just don't know. All right, middle.
He managed to stretch that for 3 minutes now.
Yeah.
All right, middle ground. I'm going 4-1. 4-1 Liverpool.
Okay. Lots of goals for a 3-1.
Yeah, 4-1. I think we come out of the traps, but I don't think we're going to stop Palace from scoring. I think they score. Yeah. 4-1. So
3 different results there then.
Yeah.
SMS is 3-0. Yeah.
Actually,
SS said 2-1. And I'm going TF 89 is going 4-1. Guys, it's written in the internet now. The internet don't lie. Those score predictions are locked in. Yeah. 3-0 from SMS, 2-1 from SS. Myself, Thiago's father, 89, is going 4-1. So, guys, it seems like the most appropriate place to close. Thank you for joining us this evening on the Red Sea podcast. Guys, if you are interested in getting on the show as well, please drop us a DM because we're always very interested to getting people on the show as well. We're not a closed shop. If you want to come on and share your opinions, please do send us a DM at the Red Sea podcast on our Twitter page. SS, what have we got coming up for the viewers?
So obviously we'll be on NFC Day Trippers tomorrow after the game, reacting to the match. I still need someone to jump on with me though, because I think you're working unless we delay it till 5:20, which probably we could do. So that'll be a reacting to hopefully the 2-1 win that I predicted correctly. But next week we got Norwich, haven't we? I don't know. Is it worth a FAB 4 for a Carabao Cup reserve game?
It's always worth a Fab 4 for a Carabao Cup reserve game, guys. I'm hoping to be at that game. I'm trying to get tickets, so I'm hoping to be at that game. And if I am, I'll be doing plenty of little match reactions, little videos as well, fan videos also. So I'm hoping that I'll be at that game, watching our team annihilate Norwich at the Suarez Stadium. Yes,
we'll have a Red Sea full time after that. I would imagine. And then I think we've got the kit review as soon as it arrives as well, haven't we? The third kit, the yellow and red McDonald's away kit.
Yeah, guys, we're still waiting for that to show up. I think official launch is the 21st. Is official launch day. But do you know what? Looking at it, there's some real nice merch in with that. Some of that stuff, which I'm really really keen on. Not so much the actual yellow shirt, but we'll save that for the actual shirt preview.
The shell suit looks nice, doesn't it?
Yeah, there's a few little bits in there which look good, which look very retro 90s Liverpool, which I'm really looking forward to getting my hands on. But yeah, guys, it's been great having you. SMS, tell the viewers where else they can find you, because I know that you've got your own channel as well.
Yeah, so if you go onto Twitter at StephenStubbs985, I've got both links to my own channel, Who's That Behind the Stat, and also obviously the link to you guys, Red Sea Podcast. So yeah, you can find us on there. I believe we're going to be doing another Rivals point of view for Brentford, I presume so.
We are.
So we'll have to try and put that out on the Twitter feed and see if we can get some Brentford fans in there.
Awesome. Definitely. And guys, if you know any Brentford fans, please send them our way. We do a show called A Rivals Point of View. It's a debate show. It's a panel show where we look to bring together, a number of fans from the opposition and just share views and discuss, obviously, potential outcomes of the game with our very own stat man, Stephen Stubb.
He was outnumbered a bit this week, weren't you, mate?
Well, he held his own, though.
Yeah. Very well.
He held his own. A massive shout out to Eagle Eyed for coming on, and the other two, Palace. No context as well, and Harry as well. The other two Palace fans.
It was a really nice bunch. I really enjoyed watching that.
There was a few disagreements, especially with no context. Disagreed on them. They said they're saying stuff like Trent should be in midfield. He's wasted at right back, and I said I just shot that down straight away, saying it's the best right back in the world. So
that's what Klopp said, wasn't it? Why would you play the best right back in midfield? Makes no sense.
Exactly.
Yeah, we're gonna be clipping that and putting that on our Twitter page.
yeah, definitely do that.
We're gonna be clipping that. Right, guys. And SS, I know you've got your own YouTube channel as well, which is kind of on the back burner at the moment because obviously Red Sea Pod is where it's at.
Yeah. I mean, that's where it all started for me. 2018. I reacted to the Kiev heartbreak, and I did every game since until I jumped on here. And like you say, it's been a bit dormant lately. But yeah, the Southern Scouts are on YouTube. I'm looking to hopefully get back to doing bits and pieces on there as well at some point. I think about 150 subscribers, so not too shabby for a dormant one. But yeah, obviously, if you want to follow me on there, more stuff will be coming out over the next few months. Now I've kind of sorted myself out a bit, and yeah, obviously all the main stuff is going to be right here.
Definitely, and guys, you know where to find me. TF89, Tiago's Father 89 on Twitter and on Instagram. And guys, my main
space at 3 a.m.
and space at 3 a.m. Yeah, my main place though is the Red Sea Podcast, where you'll find all of my content. And I might have a little something different coming for you in the not too distant future in terms of a show as well. But I think that's a good bombshell to end on. But guys, thank you for watching us this evening. And if you want to as well, please like and subscribe before you leave. Pop a like on this video as well. Like I said, subscribe and hit that bell button so you do not miss any notifications as to what is coming from the Red Sea Podcast. So we're over and out. Keep it Red Sea Pod. Keep it locked. That's us. Thank you.